This green arrow on a lane use control signal means A. You may use this lane. B. No traffic is allowed in this lane. C. You have the right of way. D. You must merge into this lane. A. You may use this lane. A steady downward green arrow over a traffic lane means you may use the lane indicated. Drivers may not pass from either side of a fill in the blank centerline. A. Combination solid and broken yellow. B. Single broken yellow. C. Double solid yellow. D. Single broken white. C. Double solid yellow. A double solid yellow line down the center of a two-way road means that it is prohibited for traffic from either direction to cross the center to pass. When turning onto a one-way street, drivers should A. Always turn into the right lane. B. Always turn into the left lane. C. Turn into the lane that will interfere the most with traffic. D. Turn into the lane that will interfere the least with traffic. D. Turn into the lane that will interfere the least with traffic. If you are turning onto a one-way street, enter into the lane that interferes the least with other traffic. Do not make a dangerous turn into traffic. You are driving on a narrow road when you meet an oncoming vehicle. You must A. Pull completely off the road and stop. B. Allow the oncoming vehicle at least one-half of the main traveled portion of the road. C. Demand the other vehicle pull over to make room. D. Turn on your high beam headlights to make sure the other vehicle sees you. B. Allow the oncoming vehicle at least one-half of the main traveled portion of the road. On narrow roads, you must allow vehicles traveling in the opposite direction at least one-half of the main traveled portion of the road. Both vehicles must have adequate space in order for the drivers to safely pass one another.
Want to ace your DMV test? Click on the link below and get your guaranteed cheat sheet.
When turning or changing lanes, you must A. Always signal your intentions, even when no visible traffic is present. B. Signal only if there is visible traffic. C. Signal only when driving at night. D. Signal only when driving in heavy traffic at night. A. Always signal your intentions, even when no visible traffic is present. Always signal your intentions when changing lanes, turning, or pulling away from a curb. Do not allow yourself to become lazy and form the bad habit of not following this law. Your brake lights tell other drivers that you A. Are making a turn. B. Have your emergency brake on. C. Are changing lanes. D. Are slowing down or stopping. D. Are slowing down or stopping. Your vehicle's brake lights indicate to other drivers that you are slowing down or stopping. Your brake lights should always be in working order when you are driving on any roadway. You may cross double solid yellow lines. A. To pass a slow-moving truck. B. To turn into a driveway. C. To pass another car. D. Under no conditions. B. To turn into a driveway. Double solid lines indicate that you may not pass or change lanes. You cannot cross the lines unless it is to turn left to enter or exit a highway, to turn into or from a driveway, or to make a U-turn where permitted. If you need to slow down while driving on a slippery road, the first thing you should do is A. Firmly apply your brakes. B. Take your foot off the gas pedal. C. Apply your parking brake. D. Pump your brakes. B. Take your foot off the gas pedal. To slow down on a slippery road, you should first take your foot off the gas pedal. If you need to slow down even more, gently apply a slow, steady pressure to your brake pedal. When you see other drivers around you acting or reacting in anger. A. Don't make eye contact. B. Don't react with hand gestures. C. Distance yourself from the situation. D. All of these. D. All of these. When other drivers are behaving angrily, you should take action to physically and mentally distance yourself from the situation. Avoid making eye contact with them, or making body movements or gestures that could provoke them. Slow down, move over, or do whatever you safely can to put yourself out of danger. When is it illegal to drive below the speed limit? A. When driving slowly disrupts the normal flow of traffic. B. When in heavy traffic in a construction zone. C. Only when driving in rural areas. D. When driving under adverse weather conditions. A. When driving slowly disrupts the normal flow of traffic. It is illegal to drive so slowly that you disrupt the normal flow of traffic. You may receive a citation for driving too slowly. When parallel parking, you should park within fill in the blank inches of the curb. A. 10. B. 12. C. 18. D. 24. C. 18. When parallel parking your vehicle, your wheels should be within 18 inches of the curb. Only park where you will not be disruptive to traffic and where drivers can clearly see your vehicle from every direction. Fill in the blank. Greatly increase stopping distances and severity of crashes. A. High speeds. B. Slow speeds. C. Night drives. D. Uphill inclines. A. High speeds. High speeds greatly increase stopping distances and severity of crashes. The faster you drive, the greater the impact or striking power of your vehicle, should you be involved in a collision. To drive safely at night, you should A. Increase your following distance. B. Not drive if you are tired. C. Make sure your headlights are working properly. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. At night, visibility is reduced. Take steps to make driving in the dark more safe for you and the other drivers on the road. Diagonal stripes sloping downward right on a barricade or panel mean A. The driver should stop. B. The driver should bear to the right. C. The driver should bear to the left. D. The driver should drive in a straight line. B. The driver should bear to the right. The diagonal stripes on a barricade or vertical panel guide drivers in the direction in which they should pass. Stripes sloping downward and to the right mean the driver should bear to the right. Conversely, stripes sloping downward and to the left mean bear to the left. What are the consequences of a driver or passenger not wearing a safety belt? A. There are no consequences. B. Just a stern talking to. C. A fine for each individual who is not fastened into their seat. D. Imprisonment. C. A fine for each individual who is not fastened into their seat. In the state of Texas, a driver can receive a citation for not wearing a safety belt and for not having each child under the age of 17 in a safety seat or safety belt. Anyone who is at least 15 years of age can receive a citation for not wearing a safety belt. There are no exemptions to the safety belt laws. When you are driving on the freeway and see that a vehicle will be entering your lane from an entrance ramp, you should A. Maintain your speed and position. B. Honk your horn so they know you are there. C. Ignore them because you have the right of way. D. Change lanes or slow down to allow them room. D. Change lanes or slow down to allow them room. Make room for vehicles entering the freeway. Whenever possible, change lanes to allow those entering to do so smoothly and safely. If you cannot change lanes, adjust your speed. Compared to driving during the day, driving at night is A. Less dangerous. B. No more or less dangerous. C. More dangerous. D. Easier on your eyes. C. More dangerous. Driving at night is more dangerous than driving during the day for several reasons. It is harder to see in the dark. You may be temporarily blinded by the glare from other vehicles' lights, and there are likely to be more drivers on the road who are tired or under the influence. This road sign means A. All traffic must turn right. B. No right turn. C. All traffic must go straight ahead. D. A road joins from the right. D. A road joins from the right. This sign indicates that there is an intersection ahead. A road joins from the right. When parking your vehicle downhill on a two-way street. A. Turn your wheels to the right. B. Turn your wheels to the left. C. Keep your wheels pointed straight ahead. D. Leave your transmission in neutral. A. Turn your wheels to the right. When you park on a downward-facing slope, turn your wheels sharply toward the side of the road. This way, if your vehicle starts to roll downhill, it will roll away from traffic. You are driving when it starts to sleet or snow. You should A. Keep your windshield and mirrors clear. B. Allow additional distance between your vehicle and the vehicles that you are following. C. Approach all vehicles with caution. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. In snowy weather, keep your windshield and mirrors clear. Increase your following distance when driving in wet and cold weather because a slippery road surface will increase the distance needed for your vehicle to stop. If you come to a roadway covered in water, you should A. Drive until you think the water is too deep. B. Drive through, as it is unlikely the standing water will become too deep. C. Turn around and find another way to go. D. Walk out into the water to determine its depth. C. Turn around and find another way to go. If you come to a roadway that is flooded, turn around and find another way to go. Do not attempt to drive through the water. It is impossible to determine the depth or current and your vehicle could become submerged or swept away. Drivers may not park within fill in the blank of a railroad crossing. A. 50 feet. B. 65 feet. C. 100 feet. D. 80 feet. A. 50 feet. You should not park within 50 feet of a railroad crossing. An improperly parked vehicle may cause a crash. You come to an intersection displaying a flashing red light. You should A. Come to a full stop and go when it is safe to do so. B. Stop only if other cars are also approaching the intersection. C. Stop only if other cars are already within the intersection. D. Slow down and be prepared to stop, if necessary. A. Come to a full stop and go when it is safe to do so. A flashing red traffic light has the same meaning as a stop sign. You must stop, yield the right of way, and go once it is safe. A reflective orange triangle on the back of a vehicle indicates that A. It is a slow-moving vehicle. B. It is an ambulance. C. It is a school bus. D. The vehicle is broken. A. It is a slow-moving vehicle. A reflective orange triangle on the rear of a vehicle means the vehicle is traveling at speeds slower than 25 miles per hour. You may see this decal on construction equipment, farm vehicles, and horse-drawn wagons or carriages. A steady yellow light at an intersection means A. Go. B. Yield to other cars. C. Slow down and prepare to stop. D. Stop. C. Slow down and prepare to stop. A steady yellow light indicates that a steady red light will soon appear. If you are driving toward an intersection and a yellow light appears, slow down and prepare to stop. If you are already within the intersection or cannot stop safely before entering the intersection, continue through carefully. If you are stopped by law enforcement, you should A. Stop in the middle of the roadway. B. Pull to the right side of the road. C. Pull to the left side of the road. D. Stop where you are. B. Pull to the right side of the road. If you are stopped by law enforcement, you should park your vehicle as far to the right side of the road as possible. If available, park on the right shoulder or park on a nearby well-lighted side street or parking lot away from high-volume traffic. This sign means A. No right turns. B. Right turns are permitted. C. Stop before turning right. D. Sharp curve ahead. A. No right turns. A regulatory sign displaying a red circle with a red slash through the middle indicates that a specific action is prohibited. Right turns are not permitted where this sign is posted. When may you pass another vehicle on the right shoulder of the road? A. Never. B. When the car in front of you is driving too slowly. C. When the car in front of you is turning. D. When the shoulder is unpaved. A. Never. If you pass on the right, do so only when conditions permit you to do so legally and safely. You should never pass another vehicle on the right by leaving the main paved road. Drive below the posted speed limit when A. Anything makes conditions less than perfect. B. You see a police car. C. Entering a highway where there are other cars. D. You are on a 4-lane road. A. Anything makes conditions less than perfect. When the road is wet or slippery, when you cannot see well, or when anything else makes conditions less than perfect, drive below the posted speed limit. Even if you are driving within the posted speed limit, you can still be ticketed for driving too fast for conditions. Drivers should allow a following distance of at least fill in the blank seconds when driving behind a motorcycle. A. 4 to 6. B. 2. C. 10. D. 8. A. 4 to 6. The slightest contact between a car and a motorcycle can mean a spill or injury for the rider. Allow a following distance of at least 4 to 6 seconds when following a motorcycle so the motorcyclist has enough time to maneuver or stop in an emergency.